Are you looking for a special gift for your loved ones? Let's use your wood turning talent and skills to make unique custom gifts for your family and friends. It seems everyone has a smartphone these days, so here's a gift idea for those iPhone power users. This custom phone stand is a fantastic gift for anyone using FaceTime or Zoom regularly, or just watching YouTube videos. So let's get started. I am terrible at giving gifts. Normally, I wait until the last minute, then end up picking up something that is pretty forgettable. Hopefully you are not like me, but if you are, this video series may help you out. Today's project is a mobile phone stand kit. These are fantastic gifts for your family and friends. There are a variety of materials we can use, including wood, acrylics, and other materials, so the colors and textures seem endless. This gives us the flexibility to customize our phone stand for the person we're giving them to. There are a lot of steps to cover, so let's get started. For this phone stand, we're going to be using a small scrap of pine that I had here in the shop, and we've already got it mounted in our pin jaws here in our scroll chuck, ready for drilling. Overall, it's about 1.5 inches long, and we're going to drill a 3/8 inch hole all the way through it. The hole drilled in our blank, the next step is to just take and glue the tube into the blank. I always like to scuff up these tubes just a little bit. We're going to apply a little bit of CA glue. Just kind of rotate it around, glue all the way in it. With our brass tubes in place and the glue dry, the next step is to take our barrel trimmer and flush off each end. We're going to trim down to the brass tube, and that'll make each end nice and square and parallel to one another. We've got the ends of the blank flushed down to the tips of our tube, and the tube's in place, glued in. So now it's almost time to start turning. But before we do that, we need to get everything assembled onto our pin mandrel. Now this is a relatively small amount of turning that we're going to be doing today, unlike a pin where sometimes you've got a couple different pieces on here. Now my mandrel is adjustable, so I can adjust the shaft, but you may need to use some spacers or something else to kind of get everything on the pin mandrel and hold it together. Since we've got a 3/8 inch tube and a 7mm mandrel, these bushings help us keep everything in place and aligned. You can see there's a small stepped down area that'll fit onto the tube. So we'll just put that in place. We've got a long piece that'll do the same thing. We'll just kind of get that down in there, and that'll hold everything securely on the pin mandrel. Next, we just need our washer and then our knurled nut to kind of tighten everything together and apply some pressure. With this assembled and tightened down, all we need to do is get it into our headstock, bring up the tailstock. Now I'm using a live center that's relatively blunt, and I don't want to put much pressure. I just want to hold this end. So as soon as I feel it, I'm going to stop. We'll tighten the quill, and we're ready to start turning. So we don't have a lot of turning with this project, so we're just going to start with our spindle gouge. All we're going to do is work down to our bearings on each end so that we'll get this piece sized right for the kit. So that's all we need to do with turning on this project. We've got a pretty clean cut right off the tool, so we're just going to start with a little bit of 220 grit, and then we'll start finishing. For our phone stand, we're going to play around with color a little bit and see if we can get a layered color effect going here. So I'm going to start with blue. Just going to add a little bit on here. The blue will ultimately end up taking off most of it. All right, we'll let that dry for a few minutes, and we're going to sand that back mostly. With our blue sanded back, we're going to try a little red. Let that one dry. So with the red on there and mostly dry, we're going to sand it back as well. Our next color layer is going to be purple. We're going to do it the same way that we did the first two. So we'll take this coat back off here in a second. So we've got all of our colors in here, and we're just going to come in on this last layer with the purple and hot pink and try to fill in some of these voids where it didn't really want to stick. And we're going to do that. We're going to kind of alternate and using a brush. Now that I'm happy with the color on my phone stand blank, we're going to start finishing with CA glue. This is my favorite finish for these types of projects. It's fast, durable. We can get a nice high gloss pretty quickly. So we're just going to kind of follow our typical process. We're going to add 3 to 5 coats of CA glue, and then we'll start polishing. We want to make sure we're rotating the paper towel. With the CA glue dried, it's time to start polishing. So we're going to use micro mesh pads today. I'm going to start with this green one. I always like to wet sand this. I've got the lathe kicked up to about 2,000 RPMs. So I just add a little water to the pad, and then we're just going to very lightly rub it in, kind of dry off, get the slurry off there, and go on to the next color. We're just going to keep working through our grits this way until we've got it finished. I really don't want to apply any pressure. I just want the pad rubbing on the piece. Last step in the process. Here, I'm just going to use a little bit of this CA polish. I'll just add a little bit of shine to it. I just want to wipe it on, find a clean, dry spot on the paper towel, pull it right back off. So we've got our phone stand blank all ready to go. The last thing we need to do is just assemble the parts. Now this project is a little bit unique in that the bushings actually help us with this process also, kind of pressing everything together. So this is the stylus end of the phone stand. You can see the rubber tip has been removed. So I've got my bushing, got this reduced section here, and I'm going to slip it over the end. And then we're going to use the tailstock up against this bushing to press the parts together. So that slides on there pretty well, and I'm going to hold it up here against my block. Just going to bring my tailstock up. I still have my blunt live center in there. I just want everything kind of lined up as the best we can. Straight as possible. And then we're going to apply a little bit of pressure against the bushing here and the tailstock until it's in the right place. On the phone holder end, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to use the bushing to help us do that. And we're going to insert this long part in here, and we're going to push on here. Now these parts are plastic. A lot of the pin parts and things that are kind of similar are metal. So I think that's probably one of the reasons we don't want to push on the plastic parts. So we're just going to press that in with the help of the bushing. Get that down to where it needs to go. The next step in assembly is to take this sliding clamp, insert it here in the phone holder, can see here we're going to insert the threaded end first, and there's a groove in here that's going to align with the phone holder. There's a little pivot point there, and then down here on the stylus end we're going to rotate it counterclockwise. We're going to rotate it back toward me, and it's going to pick up those threads. You can kind of see it's retracting that right down in there, and it's going to tighten the whole assembly up. The last step in the process is to just put the rubber stylus assembly on. So we're just going to slip it down here over the tip, and then there's a coupler ring that just screws down onto the end. And there we go. We have our mobile phone holder. And just like that, your phone stand is finished and it's ready for that special holiday gift. Or if you want, you can keep it yourself, where you just grab your smartphone and you've got a nice handy kickstand the next time you're watching YouTube videos on your phone. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you'll know when next week's gift idea comes out.